My name is Kinuko. I am CEO of Top Runner Marketing, which is a Japanese B2B event planning company in Japan. So we usually offer the B2B event planning service with the global speakers like you. We have already invited some global speakers from OpenAI or Salesforce, Google, Uber, or something like that. So today I'd like to interview you about the event marketing at B2B company. So
Sure.
nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too, Kiniko.
Could you please introduce yourself first?
So my name is Marie Morke-Yamsen. So it's working within the Briefing Center. It's also called the Salesforce Innovation Center. We work with top executives and top accounts to put on executive engagements and create programs and source out speakers for those engagements. And we partner up with those companies to kind of find solutions for their pain points.
The first question is about event marketing trends in B2B companies. In Japan, the number of the co-host event with another company is gradually increasing, and also the number of the offline events is gradually increasing because the COVID is almost settled down. So I would like to ask you about what is the event marketing trends in B2B companies?
Well, I can speak from Salesforce specifically. We've got 3 trends within our company. So the first would be hybrid events. So that's comprising of digital events and in-person events. So we merged the two, especially since COVID. Some of our workforces still don't come in, which is understandable. And then we also have international clients, so, to cater to them as well. The second thing is personalization at scale. So we always try to personalize customer experience. That's one of our value systems, and creating each executive event exactly to the need for each client. So, for example, if we're working with BBC, it's not going to be the same executive engagement as if we're working with HMRC, because it's completely different clients. And it's also based on the industry as well. And the last one is experiential marketing. So, we're heading towards more of a creative, sort of immersive, memorable experience type of executive events. We want them to experience who Salesforce is and get that wow factor, so they do feel comfortable and confident in wanting to partner with us. And that's also a big part of why we put on Dreamforce and other large tech conferences, so that we have that immersive tech experience and you get to see all the things we're doing in real life in person.
Those 3 points are really interesting for me. So regarding the second point, the event personalization, I believe it is very important to maximize the results of event marketing, but actually it is very difficult, I feel. So could you tell me more about the event personalization at the Salesforce? What kind of things you do to personalize the event?
So it's based on where the account is, whether it's a new account, an ongoing account, or we want to keep the client and retain them. So the executive engagements are based on that. And then secondly, it's based on the pain points and the needs of the client. And then the third thing is understanding the persona of those clientele. So whether it's the CEO or maybe the director or the president, it might be a little bit more formal. If it's like the marketing team or the sales team, it might be a little bit more fun, maybe have drinks and dinner, a more informal networking event. So whenever we create our programs and create the agendas, we have to look at the persona of the clientele and where the account is and the type of impact we want to have on that account as well.
Very easy to understand. Thank you for the details. The third one was memorable event, right?
Yeah, immersive, memorable events.
So, do you mean it is some using VR or some new technology or something other things?
No, more like fun, creating fun elements and creating a whole experience. So Salesforce, they've got a lot of mascots, a lot of cartoon characters. And so that's where the fun element comes in. That's where the immersive element. So in, like, let's say Dreamforce, they would have blown up large, very, very large characters going around. And each of those characters represent a different solution, a different program. For example, they've got like Einstein, so that represents a specific solution, and they'll go around. And immersive as in like having celebrities and speakers and just having very engaging moments and engaging elements of the program. And so on a smaller scale, we do try to introduce that into our interactive experiences. So for example, when we do have executive engagement and we're working with a particular client, one of my clients was The Body Shop. I don't know if you know it. It's a skincare brand. So I converted the space into one of their stores, and had all their products in, their top selling products, and just to make the company feel like we care about their products, we understand about their pain points, and we really want to partner up. And so that's what I mean by immersive experiences.
That's great. I had joined at the Dreamforce Online this week, and I saw many characters like Einstein took some photo with the participants at the event booth, and there are so many, like it was kind of like a theme park at the San Francisco's venue.
Yeah,
So,
Salesforce definitely wants to push as an innovative, fun, chilled out, really cool tech company. I think that's the vision and the road they're trying to go down.
I hope I can go to the venue next year at the San Francisco.
Yeah, we all hope. It's really, quite the experience. One of my colleagues went and they had concerts and all sorts. It was really crazy, but crazy in a good way.
This year was Elton John, a British rock star.
Yeah.
And also from Japan, Yoshiki. Do you know him?
No, I didn't watch all of them. I only watched snippets of them. But
Yoshiki is really famous Japanese rock star in Japan. So these several years, I didn't see any Japanese guests at the Dreamforce. I was really surprised to see, oh, there is Japanese guest this year. The next question is about offline and online events. You mentioned about the 3 points. The one is the hybrid events. So how should we differentiate the use of offline and online events to maximize the marketing results? What do you think of it?
I think you can do any event in person and any event online. I think it's about the agenda will be the biggest difference, the program you create, and the interactivity as well. And the engagement levels would be a bit different. Obviously, with offline events, we focus on creating customer experience from the minute they walk into the building, from picking them up at the reception to giving them, backdoor access or VIP access to the back lifts, and from the minute they walk into our doors. So that's the difference you get with offline and online. The other difference is the program you create. So with offline, we try to create more engaging and interactive elements for the meetings, where the customers get to talk with one another. There's networking. Whereas with the online events, we try to create more like breakout rooms just to keep up the engagement. We will also have breaks and have different speakers, and keep it a lot shorter. So our offline events may be like all day or half day, whereas our online events might just be like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
I see. So offline events, the most biggest merit is some meetup with other participants, but the online events gonna be a little bit difficult to mix up because there is the function of the breaking out room on the Zoom, but the most Japanese people are shy, so online events will be much more difficult to promote the engagement each other. So what do you
Yeah.
think can be done to enhance the customer experience at the online events?
I think having a very thorough program, a very time-sensitive agenda, and also the host has to be very comfortable and confident in bringing people together. The host has to be able to read the room on the online and see when people are dropping off or losing interest and be able to bring them back in. And sometimes that means flexibility, that maybe you might have to go off the agenda for a little while, but because you've kind of got a basis of what you're doing and what you're following, you're able to bring it back in. But it's very dependent on the host. So he or she needs to have great people skills, very attentive, have a great solid program, and I think that will make the big difference. And our speakers are so popular because they have that likability factor. Our speakers they don't just read off a presentation. They interact with the clients. They speak directly to the clients. They look in the camera, they focus, they engage, and they make sure that they're present. It's not just reading off a screen. So it gives it that personal touch that's hard to come by when you're online.
Thank you. The host facilitation is very crucial point, I guess.
That's the biggest part of keeping everything and everyone together. And sometimes you might need to have two hosts so they can go back and forth with each other.
The next question is about key points of the selecting speakers. Like I told, Dreamforce is very well known for the featuring a diverse range of the famous global speakers, from Hollywood actors and famous musicians, or this year NVIDIA's CEO and Anthropic CEO and Time CEO. So what do you think is the key point to consider when selecting speakers for each event?
So I came up with 3 points. So the first is it has to be relevant to the audience, relevant to the customers. It has to be diversity and inclusivity as well. And it also has to have engagement ability. So I'll start with relevance to the audience. Depending on how high up the customers are, so if they're C-level, we prioritize speakers who can provide maybe like thought leadership in areas like digital transformation, AI, sustainability. We call our speakers Salesforce evangelists. So they are very well versed in that area. They're industry experts, and they're quite famous globally. So certain C-level clients will only request certain speakers. Whereas if it's more like a lower down customer base, then we just try to understand what their pain points are and focus on the agenda more. Sometimes us as the event organizers, we have to step in and host the engagements. Another one is the second point was diversity and inclusivity. Salesforce places great emphasis on having diverse perspective. That's why in Dreamforce we do have celebrities, we do have different thought leaders from not just tech, but sports, entertainment, activism, just to drive a wider range of a conversation and just show that Salesforce is more, as I said earlier, fun, chilled out, inclusive of different people, because obviously we're a tech company, so we work with multiple clients in multiple industries. And as we're partnering up with them, we don't just have one particular face. We're not very formal. We're adaptable. And I think that's what is so great about Salesforce, being able to partner up with multiple companies, is because we're so adaptable. The last thing is engagement ability. The speaker that you choose has to be able to inspire engagement. It goes back to our previous points about the host keeping the audience engaged. They have to incorporate maybe storytelling. They have to even watch the tone of their voice. It can't be like monotone. there has to be some level of excitement and engagement and persuasion. So even like looking at the psychology of people, we also incorporate that in our agenda and making sure that this client or this audience is this type of persona. How do we relate to this type of persona who's more shy? And we also understand cultural backgrounds are different. So like you said, Japanese people are more shy, whereas in comparison to American people, they're more vibrant and loud. So we have to tailor it to the culture and the clientele as well. So that's where engagement adaptability comes in.
I saw some article and there are 4 concepts of Dreamforce, like fun. I don't remember all the concepts, but I felt while participating at the Dreamforce, all the 4 concepts in all the speakers and all the event content. So I felt it's very great. So what do you think are the most important points to consider when setting the concept for the event?
I think it's understanding the type of event it is. So for example, if it is Dreamforce, then you have to incorporate a lot of immersive factors, inclusivity as well. Not everybody is going to want to go and listen to seminars and talk. Some people do want to have fun and chill out and let their hair down, because for some people, that's their time off. They take their families, they want to create that wow factor. So I think having a wow factor is a big part of Salesforce as well. And diversity in the sense of the different activities that are going on. So like it could be a conference, it could be a seminar, it could be an immersive experience, it could be a private executive room discussing with C-level clients. Like we have VIP sections as well, where we speak to top accounts within Dreamforce. So that's where the sales guys have flown down their top accounts to Dreamforce, and then we take them to the VIP section. And then the VIP section could also include going out for golf or going out for dinner at like the best restaurant or going to a casino. So, but all of that is included in that VIP section. So when they build the VIP section, it includes all those elements as well.
Wow,
But
very fancy.
That's for Dreamforce. But you have to understand,
Mhm.
Salesforce is a multi-billion company, so they can afford to do those wow things. We don't do that like on an everyday basis.
I see. I can not imagine how much budget will cost for only one time to host the Dreamforce, because the only speakers, I guess, it will take many money, I guess, because the really top celebrity, including the Harry star like Matthew McConaughey, free this year. So I guess the Salesforce hosts the Dreamforce every year by not only their money, but also collecting the sponsorship.
Yeah, we have sponsors.
Yeah, I
But
guess it's a very important point.
yeah, but this is why we have very specific KPIs to hit for each quarter. And these executive engagements that we do on a day-to-day basis is part of the contribution to the pipeline at the end of each quarter. And so that's why we do try to put very personalized events on for these clients, because there are big accounts, and obviously that contributes to things like Dreamforce. The money goes round and round, it comes back, we pull it out, it comes back to us. It's like a boomerang.
So the next question is about the future outlook of event marketing. So what do you think the key points to keep in mind for hosting a successful event next year?
Okay, so hosting successful events is having the right crowd, having the right audience, having the right account, making sure that those accounts line up with your KPIs. So like I said, we don't host events below a certain number. So I'd say maybe for you or for any future events companies, instead of just hosting events with no potential for partnership or potential for financial gain, you might need to be very, very cautious about who you go into business with, because I think that's a big part of why Salesforce is so successful, because they're very selective of who they work with. I'd say another one is hyper personalization, going back to creating memorable experiences. And when I say memorable experiences, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. That's even down to hospitality, down to how you treat customers from the minute they walk in. Are they having an executive experience? Even if it means getting one of your staff to go down, open the door, bring them up to the room, offer them tea and coffee, take their coats. It's every single touch point, every single interaction has to be executive, because these little things create lasting feelings, and it has more of an effect than you know, because imagine they came in and had a bad experience, but your package is exactly what they need. They can easily go to another company and go with them because they didn't have a great experience. And I think that's where the desire to want to partner up with companies comes from, because they feel like Salesforce cares, there's empathy, there's understanding, and they respect us. So the second thing is exclusive access. A lot of our audiences, a lot of our customers want to have exclusive access to the top execs in Salesforce, and especially the CEO, Zara. So creating VIP packages, creating early access to content, and creating exclusive networking opportunities with either the CEO, or if you have access to other executives in other companies that you know one company could benefit from partnering up with another company, creating networking events where you bring the two together or bring different companies together. If they know that you have access to CEOs from this field and that field and presidents and this and that, they want access. You provide that access, so they're coming to you over your competitor, even though your competitor sells the same package. And the third thing is, I guess, sustainability. We're moving into a more renewable energy, and recycling is a big part of the future. And so just making sure that your events are sustainable, reusing things where you can, being mindful of when you're trying to brand. So for example, like I said, we transform our rooms and we use a lot of gifts. So we have like a storage cupboard of gifts that we can reuse. And yeah, so I'd say sustainability is a big one, and incorporating more eco-friendly practices into event planning as well. So I hope that helps.
Thank you. That much helps. So regarding the personalization and the hospitality you mentioned, it is common to send the event invitation via email. This gonna be the first touch for the participants, I guess. But actually, most companies cannot do the personalization, like changing the name or just input the subject, inserting their receiver's name or something like that. But I believe there is we can do another things to personalize and hospitalization. What do you think to enhance the personalization and hospitality when sending the invitation of the event to participants?
So you guys don't have systems where you can input the names individually on the back end?
Some companies have, actually there are some function on the HubSpot, but just only inserting the recipient's name is not enough, I guess. But if I write the email for each person, it's gonna be much burden for the marketers. So I feel it's difficult to balance the personalization, the hospitality, and the efficiency of the marketing. So what do you think of it?
Well, outside of email personalization, when we do have guests come in, we have their badges or their names on the table and a gift for them with their name on it. And then we'll do the name badges in the style of whatever their brand is. So for example, if it was BBC, we'd do the name badge in the style of a camera. If it's a cake company, we'll do it in the style of a cake. If it's a drinks company, we'll do it in the style of a bottle. With invitations, I guess the only personalization is the name. There's not much after that. So if you're not able to do that, the personalization has to come in person from the minute they walk through the door, even if it's getting pictures of them from LinkedIn or wherever and getting your staff to memorize their names and their pictures. And when they come in, say, good afternoon, Mr. So-and-so, good afternoon, Mrs. So-and-so. I'm going to take you up to your desk. When they get to the desk, the name badge is there, all of these things. So just making sure that you remember them and respect them as individuals, not just for their title.
Thank you. That's an important point, I guess. So could you give us some message for the Japanese B2B business person?
I'd say stay on top of marketing trends. When it comes to events is not marketing, so don't get so heavily in AI, making sure that you have that personalized touch, making sure you focus on customer experience, because that is the difference between keeping your accounts and losing them. I'd say making sure you have diversity in your programs, making sure you focus on your agenda, and focus on the psychological part of the clientele and who is in front of you, what is the culture like, how are they, and understand that that company is going to be very different to the next company, and just studying each clientele and not having a one-size-fits-all approach to your events, because that's what's going to make the difference. I think that's what's made Salesforce so successful, but also me in my career, understanding that every company, every event, every person is going to be different. And so I have to treat that person as an individual and understand what they like and dislike and cater to that need, cater to that pain point. I'd say also focusing on the pain points, not just giving them solutions that you think will work. So really, really listening to what they need and creating packages based on that, as well as alternative packages. So that's what I guess will make you stand out more in compared to your competitors, because competitors are more focused on getting the account and providing the solution, but they don't necessarily care about the heart of the company and who they are.